Draven instantly. Nasus ban coming as well. I feel like that's, again, becoming like almost the respect ban right now in this 1v1s, at least against some players. Same with Azir, actually.
Nasus feels like the least UZI champion ever, though.
Azir also feels like one of those champions brTT would probably not want to play in this 1v1. Again, he's an AD carry main. I'm pretty sure he wants to play an AD carry.
Much more of a Heimerdinger guy, right?
Hey, I mean, I would love to see UZI and brTT Heimerdinger mirror matchup. We might get Lucian mirror matchup. It is available.
I would settle for that.
Yeah, I'll take the Lucian versus Lucian as well. Could also be Varus from both these guys. Can an AD carry not made his way in just yet? Maybe
Still haven't seen MF either.
True.
And MF is something that I think a lot of people were expecting with how annoying it can be to lane against with the E proccing comment, pushing you out, and also the threat of the Q pass-through. If you can ever hit that on someone, they essentially have to leave lane.
Well, Pantheon taken away as well. Yes, so brTT clearly afraid of some of these, picks like Pantheon and Nasus, and not necessarily what UZI can play in terms of his own AD carries. There's nothing there he feels like he needs to ban away, other than, of course, like Caitlyn we mentioned earlier, can just be so annoying to deal with.
Well, it can simply be something where if brTT has not practiced against those champions, he does not want to risk getting caught off guard. At least if you give them a Varus or an MF or something like that, it's a champion that you're going to be very experienced against. It's a champion that you're going to understand what it can do, what it cannot do, and we are going to get the first MF, as we had just talked about. It's going to be an MF mirror match. I don't know if this was planned out or if it's just the luck of the draw, but
yeah, I didn't see them talk a whole lot, so it might just be both players deciding that it is time for MF. She has been banned in some of the games, but this should be very exciting. If you get hit by that one big double up, oh man, it is so scary with the amount of damage you can deal in the early game.
And as you say, if you get that double up, if you don't know how it works, if you actually kill the minion you first shoot it through, it will bounce through and deal extra bonus damage. So if you can set that up, if you can have those ranged minions at low HP, it really does force your opponent's hand on where they can and cannot stand. They have to be very cognizant of the passer at any time. That really can be game deciding. And as they were hovering it, brTT was bringing the heal where UZI was bringing the exhaust, so some differences in playstyle there. If brTT could keep the distance, the exhaust obviously is going to be much less effective. But these guys could have very different approaches on how they want to play it based on their rune setups, based on is it going to be an E-Max and trying to stay away and poke your opponent out and win on CS? Is it going to be a Q-Max, someone who wants to try to get in there and actually look for brawling?
I just want to see two players here hit level 6, ult each other in the face, and we just see who dies first.
You just got to have the Western duel. They both walk out to
center.
It
would be amazing.
They turn away.
Ooh, brTT right here starting Doran's Blade instead of the Longsword 3 potions. Definitely will hurt him a lot in terms of overall sustain early game.
It certainly does, but if you can actually survive, if you can actually keep up in health and get a good base off, the Doran's is more effective long term, right? It is obviously very valuable. We can see UZI rush something like Lethality if he wants to get an early serrated Dirk. That's going to be an option for him, but brTT yesterday did pick up a couple Doran's Blade, and that's likely what we'll see again from him here.
Yeah, obviously, a bit of extra HP for him compared to UZI with that pickup, but again, I think UZI is happy having the advantage in terms of potions, because again, we are expecting them to trade fair even against each other. So UZI actually gets the first hit and some extra damage right after with Make It Rain.
Yeah, both players are starting E. brTT definitely taking the worst of that. And MF's passive is also pretty interesting here because the first auto within a certain amount of time is actually going to deal extra damage there. So if you get that one auto trade and then reset your passive on something else, it is going to give you a big advantage.
This is such a good start right now for UZI because he's okay trading potion for potion when there's only one on the side of brTT.
brTT's pretty healthy so far, though. He actually did get a pretty good
He just got a very good one. Just as I started talking, he just decided to turn around.
Level 2, though. Got to back off, and look at that Q. Already, the double up getting a lot of damage down there. brTT does need to hit level 2 and is out of potions, so now he's getting pushed in. And if you have to base after getting pushed in and poked out, you're not going to have a lot of gold to actually work with if you can't farm this out pretty well. We'll see how he does.
Yeah, also early game mana issues for MF is very common.
Oh, the double up pass through.
So if brTT is forced to start using mana on CSing on the turret here or trying to land some poke that is pretty difficult to actually connect onto UZI because there's so many minions, well then suddenly you might actually find yourself running out of mana. And
you'll see how important the positioning is. You can see brTT moving away from those ranged minions because a pass-through would be death at this point. He needs to be very careful. He's actually standing behind some pretty low HP minions there.
A little bit of a lucky timing right there for brTT though with the spawn of the heal. The fact that Miniwave had just actually pushed back UZI's wave, so he had to leave. Important, brTT picks that one up, but as we saw here, the potions have been traded.
Yep.
3 for UZI means he's now sitting on basically full HP.
And now, oh, he gets a
Big
pass
one.
through, and if brTT can have a control like that, this could be the all-in.
brTT is so low right now. UZI does have enough mana for a double up.
That's such a big advantage now for UZI. I think brTT was looking for the all-in there, but UZI simply backs off, but it's the summoner advantage now for UZI. It's a CS advantage for him as well. Push it in, base, have a better buy. You have the 2 summoners, and you can look into posture very aggressively and go for the kill.
Just makes it easier to keep sitting in the front and trying to zone as well. I really like the pickup of Biscuit, is what we talked about in the very first one-on-one we did, where things like Biscuit and Future Market are so effective in the early game, and that is all you want in this one-on-one setup.
UZI did actually elect, so he did take Biscuit Delivery, but he took Cosmic Insight, which I actually think is much worse than Future's Market as far as the 1v1. I mean, 5% CDR
It's not
is going
big.
to be so much less of a big deal than, say, 3 extra potions, which is what he actually could have afforded on this base. He would have been able to come back with 5, which is such a massive amount of regen, but brTT, as expected, has a double Doran's Blade. He's going to need to get to some very advantageous trades if he wants to get back into this, because he is down on farm, he's down on gold, and it's going to be a bit problematic, but he is running Resolve, he is running the Doran, so he's going to have more lifesteal, he's going to have more sustain in a really long, grinded out type lane because of that. With the Iron Wind, with the second wind, as well as the Iron Skin, and the lifesteal from the Dorans.
Luckily though for UZI, Biscuits and Potions are just the guaranteed amount of HP you get back, and especially Biscuit is amazing when you get to use it in lane. brTT not connecting that one, but UZI returns to fire.
Even for the mana, honestly, in a 1v1,
Exactly.
it gives you 40 maximum mana after you use it permanently, which is a pretty big deal in this mana-hungry, poke-it-out style.
I mean, we've seen a lot of 1v1s now where it also comes down to the mana, like how aggressive can you play? UZI can now sit and keep trying to fire away on brTT because he feels like he has enough mana to do it.
And UZI is 6. brTT is not. If he can get it all in here, he could look for the kill.
brTT gets to run away, no barrier on his MF. UZI still sitting with both summoners.
I mean, brTT, he's in such a hard spot, though. He's so far down on farm. I feel like at this point, you just have to accept you can no longer win on farm and stop spending mana on the farm, try to get a base, try to look for an all-in, because that's the only way you're winning this when you're already 25 plus CS down.
But obviously for him, he needs to make sure the wave is actually dying, so UZI doesn't get a lot of free damage on the turret, and that is exactly what he's doing here, because that is the other way he can still lose. Of course, UZI just gets a ton of free time to kill the tower. What's important here is get barrier, once again off cooldown, go back, get full HP, full mana, and then next time you have ulti, see if you can get an all-in.
It's going to be tough, though, because UZI's going to have the ulti earlier. That's actually a pretty long cooldown. I don't even know if he's going to really get to it before he's so far down, right? I mean,
Then you got to
this is
land
already
the poke.
65 CS to 40. I feel like the only way that brTT wins this if he can get a really good all-in. And honestly, when you're down quite a bit on items, that requires a double-up pass-through. That requires some sort of game changer.
We need a few of those,
Yeah.
honestly, to hit on to UZI, where he doesn't get to return a whole lot back on brTT.
Summoners are back up, though. So, I mean, really, if you can get that one big advantage, if he fails a double up, if UZI fails a double up that does not pass through and hit you, and then you can get one that does hit the pass through and smokes UZI for a couple hundred damage,
There we go.
that could
That's
be the
one.
change.
That's a big one for him, obviously. If you're able to stay to the side of the minion wave, there's a much lower chance it actually will bounce and hit you in the face. If you're staying right behind the caster minions, there's a huge chance it will hit you. So you see UZI's positioning is constantly near the wall to make sure that he doesn't get a big one in his face.
And UZI knows all he has to do is push the wave. Like, he doesn't have to take any sort of fights, right? He has such an advantage that even if brTT can hit a couple double-ups and really poke him out, he can base. He has such a big cushion on the minions here. 20 CS.
The heal though, looking for potential all in. UZI's ulti is now being used as well.
Does get a bit of a chunk down there, and UZI, again, just pushing out the wave, trying to poke down on brTT, has another potion available, but UZI has a couple potions. UZI can go back and get control of those health relics, and he still has the itemization advantage.
And again, as you highlighted earlier, like brTT's second tree being, you know, with absolute focus, which is just good for him if he's above 70% HP, doesn't really give him any extra sustain right there. And then the movement speed as well doesn't really help him when it comes to keeping the mana going, keeping his HP up. UZI's investing so much by getting things like Biscuit, knows he can play extra aggressive because he will get a lot of that mana back as well. And brTT is looking for potential all-in to win this game.
Yeah, he knows he needs to go for something. Like, you cannot just sit back and UZI is backing off, though. He's using the minions to his advantage, and every time you shoot when you're standing by that cannon, the cannon is going to turn on brTT, but he does have his ultimate. That is one of his major advantages right now, and he's got to look for it.
Oh, he's looking for it right now. He's going for it.
Oh, so low. brTT is trying to get out of there, but is going to have to base. It looks like he survives, but UZI needs only 2 more waves. He's already at about 90 CS, and with brTT going back to base, you have to feel like it's pretty much wrapped up.
It should be over right here. UZI knew he just had to dodge the ulti. He walked straight out of it. Still had both defensive summoners he could use. And yeah, brTT tried what the only thing he basically could do at this point, the all-in.
It was a good try, but we're actually going to see UZI make sure he's going to go back to base. He only needs 4 CS, so
this man really wants to win.
Really smart. He is being extremely sure that nothing can go wrong.
So brTT right now needs to actually stand behind UZI's minions and deny any sort of easy CS for UZI.
He needs to get up there, like, already. You need to be up there.
Get in there.
Because that's just one wave, and the ultimate is available for UZI. UZI can just walk up and ult the wave, so you got to fight right now and hope that you can win, because UZI's going to ult the wave. There it is.
Nothing you can do at that point, but obviously the only thing at the end is don't actually even push the wave.
Yeah.
Just walk by it, keep your own minions far down near the turret, but this was lost earlier.
Yeah.
When we had smart choices from UZI. I love Biscuit in this one-on-one scenario here. I think Longsword 3 potions is also superior for just early sustain, which is so key when you have these traits level 1, level 2, level 3. And most of the time, brTT just found himself lower on HP compared to UZI, and therefore he couldn't really go for any early all-ins.
Yeah, and then it means when you're backing off, you give up the wave. The wave is getting pushed in. It's very hard to CS under a tower, as we've seen time and time again. But I agree. You have to think about it in terms of effective HP. That is so much of what the 1v1 is about, and here is the final play as UZI. He had the ultimate available. There's only 4 minions there. Quick and easy ult, finishes off the game, but you're thinking Longsword 3 pot. So it's 150 health back that you're getting from each potion, right? That is 450 health. How many autos is it going to take for the Doran's Blade lifesteal to make that up? There's so many, and it's very unlikely that you will be able to actually get enough out of that. Likewise, that's why I think Futures Market is so good, even though we've not really seen it except for PoE. And he did lose, but I still think that was really, really smart. I'm more and more convinced that the Biscuit Delivery plus Futures Market is by far the best for the secondary tree if you're going to go Sorcery Primary for Airy and for Comet, because that means that you're getting 2 to 3 biscuits, depending on how long the game actually lasts. That is a lot of health. Then you're getting 3 to 4 potions with your actually extra money that you can have there as well. So that's so much extra health.
I mean, the only one we also see from the other one, sorry, we also see from a lot of players is Resolve second, and then you get second wind. You get either 5 armor, 5 MR, depending on what you need, and that is effective as well to try and be a little bit beefier and also stay a little bit longer in the 1v1s. But it's funny against how much sustain and mana just means, because you're constantly poking each other. And if you're out of mana, you're really not a threat.
And I think if it's a full-on all-in, Resolve could be more effective because second wind is more immediate. Having the flat armor MR is more immediate. But any slow, grinded-out type game, there's no way that in a 5 to 8 minute game you're getting as much health from Resolve from second wind. You're not going to regen 600, 700, 800 health as you can get from Futures Market plus Biscuit Delivery. So to me, that does seem like the best choice. But we are going to be moving on to the next matchup. It is the final one for the